You know what I love? Cute stuff. Animal Crossing, Friendship is Magic, Raggedy Ann and Andy. Every now and then, that type of thing is my jam. You know what I also love? Cute stuff with gore. So far on this channel, I've covered a lot of single-player action games. Something I haven't covered yet is something considered a cozy game. Animal Crossing, Story of Seasons, stuff like that. While I've played multiple entries in each of those franchises and beyond, I never stick with them for very long. My first cozy game was Stardew Valley, and frankly, most of my attempts to find something as good as Stardew Valley have been met with crippling disappointment. The reason I think Stardew Valley reigns supreme in my head is because, yes, the game is chill most of the time, but it also isn't afraid to push you a little bit. There are enemies that can kill you, time management is important, and the fishing minigame isn't utterly brain dead. To me, cozy doesn't mean boring, and sometimes games in the genre seem afraid to give the player too much stimulation. Cult of the Lamb does not have that problem. Half cozy base building and half dungeon crawling roguelike, Cult of the Lamb is one of the most balanced video games I have ever played in terms of tone and gameplay. You can see on screen just how cute and cuddly all your animal friends are, and it honestly harkens to Animal Crossing in a lot of ways. You have a small village where you construct buildings and collect resources, and there are a variety of critters you can meet to join your island getaway, convert to your cult. Unlike Animal Crossing, you are not the mayor of a cuddly town where everybody chills and the currency is hugs and presents. You are a cult leader, and you're putting their cute asses to work. Something I adore in games is automation. When tedious actions you have to do in the early game slowly become things that just happen without you having to think about it, like the sprinklers in Stardew. In this game, every new recruit to your cult can perform a variety of tasks. While you start the game having to feed them, clean up after them, and deal with their corpses, your options for automation become more plentiful and useful as your numbers grow and you start harvesting more resources. Resources like devotion, a measure of your cult's, devotion. Rocks, wood, and even poop are useful resources here, but so is your cult's devotion. The better you treat your cult, the more goodies you get to treat them better. Treating them badly and ignoring their needs can result in the more skeptical members revolting and needing to be dealt with. That didn't happen to me when I was recording for this because, this ain't my first rodeo, but it can happen. When your cult is happy and things are running like clockwork, you can find yourself circling your little corner of hell just looking for something that needs attention. If you play your cards right, your little guys will be on top of things in no time, leaving you with free time to focus on the other half of this game's oh-so-satisfying gameplay loop. This is the dungeon crawling roguelike part. Upgrading your cult typically involves quality of life improvements for you and the members of it, and some of the upgrades affect this part of the game as well. You're not just improving your cult, but yourself and your ability to fight unspeakable horrors in the woods. Fans of Slay the Spire and Hades will be very comfortable in this more action-packed half of the game, as it feels like a perfect combination of various systems present in them. The hack-and-slash combat is fast and demands some fancy footwork, with complexities being peppered in as you grow in power. Navigating the woods is portrayed on a grid, where you chart a path based on the rewards you can earn along each branch. There are plenty of secrets and general resources to find no matter what path you take, but you can't be really lazy about it. Sure, you could take the path of least resistance that promises lots of easy resources and new cultists to indoctrinate, but not doing enough combat rooms can leave you underpowered for the boss fight that awaits you at the end of each run you make through the dungeon. Because this game's roguelike elements demand that you get out there and fight to make your character stronger. Things you do back in the cult itself will give you permanent upgrades, but things like tarot cards, upgraded weapons and casts, and powerful relics become more plentiful the more you actually engage with the combat in the dungeons themselves. These short-term upgrades reset when you leave the dungeon, and there are so many combinations of them to find that each run holds a new way of engaging with enemies. These things are only a fraction of the options the game has to offer, and your possible arsenal only expands as you strengthen your cult. This is exactly the kind of gameplay loop that keeps my brain from thinking bad thoughts. When the cult is happy and things are going smoothly, it allows you the freedom to leave your cult to fend for themselves for a while so you can make progress in the game's various dungeons. The rewards you get for completing those dungeons can then be used to make your cult stronger, which makes you stronger, which makes your cult you get the idea. It's a proper gameplay loop where each system feeds into one another. And I think the really great thing about that is, you really don't have to engage with one system or the other very much if you really don't want to. I think this is particularly great for the cozy gamers that prefer the true cozy experience, one that doesn't give you too much pushback on the player. There are enough systems in this game that if utilized properly, you really don't have to engage with the fast-paced combat if you don't want to. I think you'd be missing out, but it's an option. Personally, I think the game's co-op mode is the perfect solution to this conundrum. One cozy player can make all the decisions about where to place buildings and customize the critters to make the perfect cute little town, while the hardcore gamer player can carry the cozy player through the big scary dungeons. If you're riding solo, there is no shortage of these aforementioned upgrades that give you enough advantages that you really don't even have to be actually good at the game to get through to the end credits. You just have to play long enough to offset your skill level, kinda like in Hades. There is post-game content if you like, but you can just as easily do an ungodly amount of fishing to make money and feed into the other various systems in your village. That way, if all you want to do is frolic and play dress up, you can do that. Well, if you want to play dress up, you're gonna have to go fight. You're gonna have to go face the spiders. Sorry. All this to say, I was really kind of hesitant to even call this a cozy game in the beginning. In many ways, it really isn't in the traditional sense. A lot of the game's imagery is pretty gruesome, and the music, despite being catchy as hell, doesn't exactly inspire nap time. But as I've demonstrated, the game is really about as cozy as you want it to be. You can fight monsters and kill God, but you can also just kill time, helping your animal pals, fishing, and gambling. The game's visuals have that ideal cutesiness that makes something like Animal Crossing visually appealing, but with an edge to it, like it was made for Hot Topic kids. And honestly, I think that whole aesthetic is far more important than some people give it credit for. If you're anything like me, you probably watched a lot of Invader Zim, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy growing up, and it probably did permanent damage to your brain, in a good way. These are the kinds of cartoons you look back on and wonder just how the fuck anyone allowed them to be on TV in the first place, in a good way. These shows had unhinged humor and terrifying visuals that contrasted their innocent cartoonishness, and I think the Venn diagram of fans of these cartoons and fans of this game is a lot closer to a circle than an actual proper diagram. Likewise, I think the game does have wider appeal to people that are, younger than 30, who experience similar things in their more online adolescence. Happy Tree Friends, Five Nights at Freddy's, Cupcakes HD, all things that seem cute and friendly on the surface that have much more f***ed up things going on when you dive into them. It's the type of peanut butter and chocolate contradiction that I and a lot of fans of this game love to see. Yes! Yes! Feed that adorable critter to the creature! Don't get me wrong, I got no issue with something being all cute or all evil. I was playing a lot of Outlast around 2013 in between goddamn My Little Pony episodes. But the contrast, the delicate balance struck when something so horrible happens and you just think, aww. I love that shit. I love it so much. Cult of the Lamb has this blood-stained cuteness in spades, and honestly, it's quite refreshing when something in the game does eventually make you think, oh god, what have I done? It connects with you. Everybody loves cute animals, and it's not hard to wind up endearing yourself to these little goobers when they're getting into drunken slap fights, snoring so loud they need to go in a corner, or constantly asking you to pull the hilarious prank of feeding poop to the new guy. Again! And this endearment tees up just the right amount of stakes when you get to the final boss. The game does have a plot that I haven't really touched on, but building your own cult is the bare bones long and short of it. It's there for players like me that appreciate it, but skipping dialogue isn't going to leave you totally blind. Cult of the Lamb is an adorable, bloody, action-packed cozy game that wears contradiction like a badge of honor. It's not afraid to be super cute one second and utterly horrifying the next. It's got intense action for those that want it, and more than enough ways to get around that action if you just want a vibe. Best part? As of my recording this, the game just had some new DLC come out that I have yet to get my hands on. Honestly, I gotta wrap this video up so I can see what it's all about. And if this is your first time hearing about this wonderful bundle of contradictions that is Cult of the Lamb, I hope you'll join me. We would absolutely love to have you.